Hi and welcome to this tutorial on the Professional Flight Planner X, Pfpx for short. This is a very brief overview on how to use Pfpx. I use this to plan all my flights for the Pmdg aircraft and the Aerosoft aircraft. You can use it for different other software manufacturers across all of the different software ranges for FSX and for P3D, etc. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to show you is the aircraft database. If we click up the top here on the left hand corner, you'll see the aircraft database comes up. Click on that, and as you can see, I've got all my aircraft already set up here, but I'm just going to show you how to do that for the purposes of this tutorial. So we click on new and new aircraft, and we have this box come up which we need to fill in. So let's create a registration number for our aircraft. Okay, I've just made one up there. If you know the tail number, you can put that in. If it doesn't automatically come up with the aircraft, you can come down and select it. So let's assume it's a 737-600, and as you can see, it will change all this information here. It will tell you the engines, etc., etc., the maximum zero fuel weight, the empty weight. All of these details here are coming from this aircraft type up the top here. You can go in and change it if you want to, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. So that's basically it. And then all you do is you save that, and as you can see, it adds it into the list of aircraft here. So you're going to need to do that before you start your planning, so that's the first thing to do. Okay, so we're going to close that down. Now we're going to come over and we're going to create a new plan. So we come up the top here, we click add flight, new plan, and this box opens up. Okay, so the first thing you need to put in is the airline identifier. So if we click on that, you can see here it runs through all the different airlines, but we're just going to leave it on the EYZ, which is for EasyJet. So if you wanted, for example, British Airways, you just type in BAW, or you can look it up on a list. Flight number, you can use a real world flight number, or you can simply make one up. We're just going to put in there 1234. Okay, the from box, this is going to be where we're flying from. So for example, if we were flying from Gatwick, we'd put in EGK. And as you can see, it comes up with that information there, and also on the right hand side here it tells you, it's showing you where EGKK is, which is fine. If you don't know the aircraft, the airfield identifier, then simply click on this tab here and click find, and you can put in here, for example, put in and as you can see, it's found Gatwick. You can see there, and you just double click on and it will load it in there, and it's exactly the same principle too. So for example, today we're going to Frankfurt. I know that the airport code for Frankfurt is EDFF, but we can just do this again just to make sure. Okay, this time it's found 3 because there's 3 different airports for Frankfurt, but we want this first one, EDDF, Frankfurt. Okay, so you can now see over on the map here it's drawn a line from Gatwick to Frankfurt, and that's essentially where we're flying to. The next information here, type of flight. It's fairly self-explanatory, but this is an international flight. Now all I do is, where it says commercial flight number, I just put 1234 in there again and copy the flight number. Right, the only other information you need is down the bottom here, the registration number or the aircraft type. So if we click on the drop down box, you can see here we can move up and down, and today we're going to be flying the Boeing 737-800 at the bottom here. You double click on that and it brings up the registration number. It tells you what the aircraft type is, maximum amount of passengers and cargo, etc. That's all you need to put in here. I'm just keeping this simple. There's lots of other information you can put in, but we just need to keep this simple. So that's it. Now the next thing we need to do is click on save, and as you can see now down the bottom here in red, we've got the scheduled flight here in red, showing up on the map here. Now we can go ahead and plan the flight. If you come up the top here, click on the plan flight button, and this panel opens up here. Now I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because I don't tend to change much of this. The only thing I do change occasionally is the takeoff and landing runway. For example, at Gatwick, I might, if it comes up as where are we? If it comes up as 26 right, that's not used at Gatwick. It's 26 left. So I would come down and change that to 26 left. Or if I was flying to it and it gave me 26 right, I'd change it to 26 left, etc. The information that it gives you, the defaults on the takeoff and landing, is actually taken from the weather tracks. And if you look down the bottom right hand side, you can see that the weather is on down the bottom here. The current nav AirX article is actually 1604. I've not updated that yet, so that's why we've got that little warning there. So yeah, it's taken it from the online weather system within Pfpx, and it's updated online live. So it should be fairly accurate for when you take off, providing it's, you know, today for example. So we're going to leave that as 8 right, and the landing runway at Frankfurt is 25 right. This other information, taxi out, taxi in, you can change that if you want to, but I just leave it as it is. Aircraft registration, all this information, again, I'm not going to go into it in any great detail. You can see what it is. You can play around with it if you want to. Now, as far as payload's concerned, it's entirely up to you. You can set the payload yourself, or you can click this button up the top here, random payload, which I'm going to do. Okay, that's just accepted the random payload. The next thing to do is quick find route. Now there is actually 2 ways of doing this. You can either click on this button at the top, but before I do that, I'm going to come down here to where it says route. Now you can, where it says route none, click on that drop down box, and if you just click find, it will give you a route, which basically is here, and it's probably the most direct route that it uses. You can do it that way, or a more simplistic way is if I just clear that, Just go back to the top here, just click on quick find. And it's probably, I'm not sure actually, I didn't look at it, but it's probably give me the same one. So yeah, you know, just keeping things simple, just click on that and it will give you your route, which is down the bottom here. The next thing you need to do is find destination alternatives. Again, just click on that and it will load it down the bottom there. And then the next thing to do is compute the flight. Okay, so that's all done. That's essentially done all the planning for you. The next thing you need to do, if you're happy with that, is just click on release flight. And as you can see, it's now turned green. Now before I show you any more to do with that, I'm just going to come back up at the top here, and you can see there's a button at the top here called export. Now what we're going to do is click on that, and you can see here that it's given it a route number EGKK EDDF01. Now what this is going to do, this panel, is it's going to export this flight plan into the company routes in your FMC, so that you can use it as a company route. Now as you can see, if you come down the bottom here, I've got various ticks against Pmdg simulations, and these are the flight folders. You're going to need to set this up yourself, so you're going to need to know where the location of the flight folders are for Pmdg and Aerosoft, which I believe is up here, Airbus Extended. Okay, so that's the actual documents folder for your flight plans, so you need to put that up. I'm using Prepared 3D 3.2. that's the folder, the main folder, so you've got to put that in as well, and that's basically it. Now the other thing I do is, so that if I've got many routes of the same name, I tend to put today's date in for them. So what I do is I actually edit this route up the top here. Just take those out, and I actually put today's date in, which is 14th of May 16. And that's just so that if I've got half a dozen of the same route, I can see that this is today's route. And of course, if you did do 2 or 3 in the same day, you can just call it A or B, etc. That's what you need to do. The next thing you do is you just click save, and those 3 routes now have been saved into the Pmdg and Airbus flight plan folders. Obviously that's very important, because when you come to do your flight management computer, obviously you can put the routes in manually, but this just saves an awful lot of time really. You can just it's just exported in there. You can call up the company routes and it goes straight in there. Okay, so that's done now. Next thing we're going to look at is this along the top here. First is obviously you've got the schedule of flights here. These are just some other flights I've made up. Click on summary. This gives us fuel and time and weight, etc. Don't really use that much. This is the main information that I use. Now you can actually print this off. If you go up the top here and click print flight plan, it'll actually print this entire lot off. And if I just scroll down, you can see there you've got all your waypoints, you've got everything, but we're going to start. And as you can see, it gives you your flight number, your aircraft, your route. It also tells you that you're departing from London Gatwick 08 right, gives you the elevation of the airfield, and it's giving you the flight level, the distance, all of this information. You can have a look through yourself. It's quite comprehensive. It gives you your weights, and more importantly, it gives you a breakdown of your fuel. And if you look here where it says release, that's the fuel that you need to put in. So when you're setting up your Pmdg 737 NGX, you can put that in. That's your total in pounds. Now, one footnote to the fuel: when you're flying in the Aerosoft Airbus, you're going to have to convert the pounds into kilograms, and I just take that, use a calculator, and divide it by 2.2 pounds, which is, there is 2.2 pounds to the kilo, and that gives me my fuel calculation. I don't bother with Top Cat and all the rest of the that other stuff. I've always found this works. It's fine for me. Okay, so there's other information here which I'll let you read through at your leisure. This ATC route here, I'm sure many of you fly on VATSIM, and when you come to put your flight plan in VATSIM, all I do is copy. Just right click on that now and copy, and then you can paste that straight into your flight plan when you come to do it in VATSIM. Next, alternate planning. Okay, so these are your alternate airfields. Again, for any of you that fly in VATSIM, you can put this information in. So you can shove EDDK in as your alternate in your VATSIM flight plan. Okay, so the next information is waypoints, and the first thing I'm going to look at the top here is when you come to put your depart arrival runways in your FMC, you're going to put in 08 right, and you're going to need a standard you're going to need your SID, standard instrument departure, and there it is there, DVR 2P. So you're 8 right, and there's your SID all there. Okay, if you come down to the bottom, you can see that we've got the information for landing. You're going to be landing on 25 right, so that's going to be your arrival runway at Frankfurt, and there's your star, your standard terminal arrival route, UNOK1R. Okay, so that's your information that you can use, obviously, for planning that. If you use stars and SIDs, it's all there. So you can basically print this off, but obviously it just takes up a lot of paper. So I just keep Pfpx open and just scroll backwards and forwards to take the information straight off of. And that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. That's the most important page. You can click on the ATC information now. There's a weather report for your origin at Gatwick and your destination, if you want to use that information. And there's the NOTAMs as well, which should be up to date as at now. If you use NOTAMs, or you want to be really realistic, you can look through that stuff. I don't really use it, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's fine. So that's basically it. There's not a lot else to go through. obviously there's loads of other bits and pieces that you can play around with. It's entirely up to you, but literally I just come in here and go through that routine, set up a flight, and it's all done for me. But again, you've got the flexibility there to put lots of different stuff in, play a dispatcher role, and go through there, or simply use information from live flights for British Airways or whoever you fly with, and use their information. Anyway, I hope this has been of use to you. I know there's lots of different videos around, but you know, I just wanted to do this, put it up on my YouTube site as another video for you. Anyway, I'm Ian65, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a new video very soon.